Hi, everybody. Here is part two of hanging out with the Tempted Clown. I hope that you guys had a good week and I hope that you enjoyed listening to the rest of the conversation. Yep.
No, okay. I started looking up things on YouTube and watching those, and I found this channel, and it's like I think at the time it was Asperger's from the inside. Now it just goes by autism from the inside, and it's pretty cool. And the guy started having like a Patreon, and they would do these check-ins with each other. And during the lockdown, I was just like, oh, I didn't have an audience. I got one on the internet, and so I for the lowest tier, I got to go, and I wasn't I wasn't actually like any of the other autistic people in the group. And the guy that runs it, Paul, he's just so very encouraging. It was incredible, and I felt welcome and I felt at home in a way that I hadn't really felt before. I think it was a little bit after that I joined TikTok and just found a whole bunch of you guys. But like, I felt isolated my entire life. I think I told the story 1,000 times to people about not getting along with any children growing up, and having them say like, "Get away from me." We don't like you. There's something odd about you. You're off. You're strange. And I would just be like, yeah, but I don't know why. And they'd just be like, we don't know either, but go away. And like that was
Yeah.
just such a common thing anytime I would interact with somebody.
Yeah,
And
you're weird.
yeah, and
And
when you
yeah,
look
and
into this, it makes sense.
and the few kids that wanted to hang out with me, it was always because they were trying to trick me to use me or something. It wasn't because they
Uh,
actually liked me. So it would be like they're trying to get money or whatever it was. And I didn't realize it at the time. I just thought they want, be my friends. And then in retrospect, with an adult brain, you know, it's yeah. Yeah,
I was
that's
pretty.
TikTok had made a made a whole mess of things. Added so much stuff to my life, and I am not complaining, but it was a lot.
Yeah, no, I feel like a jerk to just kind of swoop in and just grab a few of you guys, be like, all right, I'm gonna take these and I'm gonna leave now. Is that good? Are we good?
that's
I
that's
got
what
I
I
got what I
did.
want.
I connected with my favorites off of TikTok, and I don't worry about it now. I'm just like, eh.
And I have so much, I feel so supported and have so much great socialization now that I don't have as urgent a need to goof off for an audience,
Yeah.
because I have a social circle now. I didn't really have that most of my life, so I'm like, oh, it turns out I don't like need that all the time. And I was talking to Samantha, like, I think I have some like I have like confidence now, and that kind of sucks because it makes you feel guilty. Like, you have this ridiculous work ethic for goofing off when you're isolated, and then like when you go like, no, I accept myself how I am, and the people around me do, you're not as likely to have symptoms of that show must go on disorder
Yeah.
when you're just like relaxed about stuff.
It is good though. If you're gonna do the show, I want you to do it because it is making you very happy in that moment to do it. Otherwise, I don't want you to.
Yeah. Yeah, when I talk to you, I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. It's like, I don't know why. It's hard to record stuff now. Um, well, like for this, like I put on a shirt and well, not that I always have a bunch of shirts on. I put on a clean shirt,
I
and
didn't.
hair
I didn't.
clean.
I,
Ooh.
I think I'm on like day three in this dress. I don't sleep in it, so I feel like it's still clean the next day. So it's,
I sleep in all of my clothes. Like, it is just like a thing. I don't like to be not kind of boxed in. So I
yeah.
sleep in jeans every day, all the time. Jeans and a bra and a t-shirt. I hate my arms and legs covered, so I'm like wearing a t-shirt even if it's really cold, and I have no socks on even if it's really cold. But I have jeans on no matter how hot it is. It's like I need to feel boxed in. Oh, that's right. And the guy Paul said that even though a lot of my symptoms were opposite of everyone else, those are still a lot of sensory issues. And
Yeah.
so to feel out of place, I'm just having a different reaction to that input. And it made me
It's
feel really, really good.
Yeah, it's a spectrum. It's really interesting, like how some people really need to feel like pressure, and then some people it's like I don't like any kind of pressure. And then I have I don't know if it's because of the EDS or whatever, but part of the reason why I don't sleep with clothes on is because if they wrinkle up, it'll push my ribs out, and then they hurt until they pop back in, or it'll just hurt because it's pushing on them or whatever. So the less I have, and I always have to make sure my sheet is nice and flat and stuff so that it doesn't wrinkle up underneath me because it hurts. So that's why. But I also like to have the blanket sort of tucked under my edges so it's like really tight around me. So I got, and then in November when I started having, well, okay, it was like 2 months ago, I got this it's like a heating pad that's made from like lava sand, and so it's about 4 pounds, and it doesn't I don't heat it up because I don't care, but it's the perfect size to go across my belly, my rib cage. So with the thyroid issues is causing like this really bad anxiety in the mornings, so I would just put it right there because that's where I feel my anxieties in my belly, and the pressure is like so nice, and I could go back to sleep. It's like I
I'm
really
gonna
like
look
it.
for that. I didn't know they made like little one type deals. I know I got one of those blankets, but I'm it just became something in the bed that was taking up space because when I needed it the most, I was very frail and I wasn't strong enough to pull it up over onto me.
Those are pretty heavy, aren't they?
And that's the point, and it works really well. But if I can easily toss it on me, because I got strong arms, if I can easily put it on, there's a good chance I didn't need the pressure that time.
Yeah.
It is, but a little one that would be perfect.
Yeah, they do make like weighted pads that are smaller, but they weren't heavy enough. So I spent like 2 weeks just scouring the internet until I found this one perfect thing. So I'll send you a link to it if you want to check it out.
Yeah, I was looking at stuffed animals because I like the idea of just like this is like they make these stuffed animals where just like the legs all have a bunch of those glass beads or whatever. So when you hug it, it just and
Yeah,
I was
I was
looking at
looking
those.
at those, but they didn't look like it would lay flat enough for me. And I wanted something that would really drape my belly. So
I need the hug to be comfortable. I
yeah.
think they were a little bit too in on the shape and
Hmm.
function has to be first. I'm a very aesthetic person, but like, come on, function.
Yeah. Uh, yeah,
But a
it's
rectangle very often has the most function, which I hate, but whatever.
so much stuff. Like I don't know how much money I've spent the last couple months on my health stuff, finding things to help me manage my discomfort. And it was like, oh well, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, trying different things. Oh no, it's your thyroid. Nothing's gonna help that. I'm like, oh, I spent money on that supplement for what? You know? Some of the supplements I never even started them, but I can't return it. So I think I might go on the Reddit group and just offer them to somebody if they want to pay for shipping.
Hmm.
Because they haven't been opened. They're sealed.
Yeah, at
That's
least yeah, there might be somebody going through the same thing, and then they'll at least have a little bit of a supply.
Yeah, and not have to spend as much because
Mhm.
it's expensive. Like the the doctor will be like, "Oh, why don't you try this?" And I look and it's like, "How much?"
Why is that a thing, right? That it's like very expensive to be too sick to work.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's yeah, we were talking about the hair loss, and she was her the doctor had mentioned that one of her kids went through chemo and they tried the supplement and it actually helped with the hair fall quite a bit and the regrowth when it was time. And I looked it up and it was like I was like, oh no. It's like over $100 a month for for it. And I'm like, no, I'm just not gonna have hair.
Yeah, no, and I did like I love this and it's a security thing for me and it's a fidget thing for me. But I am looking forward to the days where I just bring that body wash all the way up to my forehead, just like old times. Oh, because the downtime I need after just showering is just pure nonsense, and that would having no hair is gonna. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it to myself. This really means so much, and it helps so much. But I do remember there was a lot of relief when it was gone. I'm looking forward to that part.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, showering takes up so much energy. It's frustrating.
And I was
So,
just like, kid, I gotta get like a moo or something. Cause like I get out of my jeans and then I put them back. I put like jeans on afterwards. Like what am I, Superman? Like
yeah. Yeah, I like with the thyroid stuff, I'm really sensitive to heat and everything right now, and I get sweaty really easily. And getting dressed when you're too warm and you're sweaty is a thing, and it's a lot. Like I'm like trying to pull my pants on. I'm like,
what it's super not safe. I don't know about you, but it's like I feel like I'm gonna black out, or just like
yeah,
I'm like I just think I'm telling myself you're almost there, you're almost there. And then I get out and then I like grab hold of the walker to come out to the living room and then I'm just like, you gotta really had to give yourself several pep talks to get your shirt all the way on. This I don't think it's supposed to be like this. Like ah,
yeah. Yeah, it's thankfully it hasn't been quite that intense for me, but when I was at the height of the chronic fatigue stuff, I couldn't even stand in the showers. Like I had to sit down, and then it was like a whole thing to get up and out of the shower, and then I had to keep it on cool temperature because the warmer temperatures make the blood pressure drop even lower. My blood pressure's really low. So it'd be
mhm.
like slither out of the shower because I couldn't hold myself up, and
Yeah, my blood pressure
yeah.
gets low a lot too. And then like with the anemia, like if I didn't have cancer, I think I'd still be doing this same stuff. Or it's just like, and it's like what happened? And it's just like, well, it's a little bit warm in the other room, and that's all it took.
Yep. Yeah. It's crazy the things that like, sensitivities and then it's like boom, energy gone. And you're like, oh. Sometimes just having an idea that I get excited about and I'm like, oh, I want to do that thing. And just doing that will make me tired. I don't even get to do the thing. I just got excited about the idea of doing it. And then I'm like, oh, tired for the day.
I have like a little notes thing in my phone of just all kinds of ideas. And every once in a while when I have energy, I'm like, I go look through there. I'm like, oh, I think I'm gonna do something today. And then I look at how long the list is, and then like choosing something, I'm like, I'm gonna watch TV. I reading this list was all I had going. It turns out that was all my energy.
Yeah, I have a list of like sticker and magnet ideas for my shop, and they're great ideas. And then I just like look and I start thinking about all the steps that's going to take to design it and things and stuff. And then I'm like, maybe when I have more energy.
Oh my goodness, I'm not ever gonna have something like you where it's just like actually done well and stuff. But like, I start listening to this little separate YouTube thing, or I'm just kind of just like at first it's just me talking, and then I have one that I never posted that is just sitting there on this tablet where I was recording stuff, just not posted yet, of me talking with my kid about hair and stuff. And I don't know how cancer just kind of changes your relationship to hair. Not in an
Yeah.
in depth way. I'm not an in depth kind of a person. I don't have enough focus. But yeah, I probably do that in the next couple of days. But like, I don't know everything so much. Every
Yeah.
little thing is so much. But yeah, I was start like, hey you guys, I'm a tempted clown, and old people keep shooting at me. Like that was just that was fun enough to say that I did three, like all in a row.
So, when are you getting married? Do you have like a date?
That really just we're doing that fiance visa. So the date is within 90 days of the approval. Whenever that is. I went and looked and they're like, estimated wait times are 13 months, but there's a lot of variables and all of that. And we haven't officially like filed yet because I want to have all of my ducks in a row. Like I'm like reading the thing and panicking and going, wait, do we have to do it this way? Like I think I was talking to her last night, or do we have to do it this way? But so I'm just getting ready to do it at a moment's notice whenever it's time. And I'm
Yeah.
so excited. I know I'm probably not gonna have any hair. Hopefully I won't have any hair because that means they're still doing treatments and I don't want them to quit. But like so I got like a wig and I got like a top hat, like a little mini top hat, and getting some plastic cookies and a bubble wand because we're gonna have matching bouquets, and so like I'm making the bouquets and just all kinds of like silk flowers, whatever they call that, and stuff, so that they can't just be ready at a moment's notice. But I thought it'd be cool if we matched and whatever. I'm gonna try and have like oh, and one of the little things. Oh, it's just my sensory stuff. I hate my feet being covered. And I'm like, if it's my special day, I want short sleeves and no shoes on. And she's like, well, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Like, can I put lights and plastic toys and stuff in the in the bouquets? And she's like, hey, I know I'm marrying a clown. And I was like, I love you so much. Like, it was
That's awesome.
wonderful.
Yeah. I don't like wearing shoes either.
That's worse.
I yeah, I wear like Croc flip-flops, so they're open shoes, but they have the arch support because I have really high arches. So I got to that point where being
Yeah.
barefoot for so many years started to mess up my arches. Um, so that's helped a lot. And then I can run around barefoot most of the time, and then when I go out, I wear the flip-flops. It's like my compromise.
I had messed up arches to begin with. Like my feet are flat. Like there's virtually no arch. There's just kind of it's just a little bit. It's yeah no. I have very flat feet, and so walking was always painful. But checkmate feet. I have to use a wheelchair when I leave the house now. Oh,
They're like, oh yeah.
I
Yeah,
gotta
I
get
I
more
realized that
ridiculous feet.
if I go to any events like Maker's Fair or something, I'll probably want to see if I can source a chair for the day because I don't if I'm still feeling the way that I have been the last few months, I will not be able to attend the event if I cannot be on my ass for most of the day.
Yeah, and I had to learn how to just kind of let go of any kind of pride about it. I was like, because at first I'm in this mode where like I'm gonna tough it out, and then I couldn't a whole bunch of times, and I got upset sometimes, or started crying, or just had to leave before that happened a bunch of times because the frailty and the lack of energy and just the pain, it all builds up, and I accidentally let it build up too much because even though they give me like painkillers for the stuff, I regularly miss doses because I'm still in that old headspace where like I just lived with constant pain. So every once in a while, I'll get
Yeah.
like a sharp pain and I'll just do stuff. Like my kid won't even know right away that I'm in pain because my reaction is, well, you got to get distracted so you don't crack up. Like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
eventually I'm like, I can't go anywhere. I can't bring the chair. That's just the rules now.
Yeah. Yeah, my pain specialist has to remind me that they prescribe things to help because they'll be like, you haven't gotten this refilled in a year. I'm like, yeah, I never took any. And it's like muscle relaxants or whatever. Think because I have like, like it'll hurt where I can't even sleep because my neck hurts so much or whatever. And I'll just be like, I don't, I'm so used to living with it that I forget. The trigger point injections I started getting actually help a lot, which is nice because I still don't I don't like taking the meds if I don't have
Mhm.
to, but um, it's like remembering to use the heating pad or the massager or whatever. It's, I have those tools for a reason. And I just, yeah, I don't know. I just get used to the noise, I guess. And
Yeah, yeah, no, it does. It becomes noise. It's so weird. And yeah, I've had doctors give me a hard time too. They're just like, we like to see that you're not taking them all the time, but it's been 3 months. You're clearly not taking them enough. I'm just like, they're yucky. Like,
yeah,
like ah,
yeah.
so I know that's
And
not a
well,
good reason, but
yeah,
also I
I
forget
said,
that I get help now.
I, s- I told the endocrinologist that the beta blocker she prescribed me made me feel yucky, and she was like, "What does yucky mean?" And I was
It's
like
not
really,
good. Shut
really,
up.
yeah, it's really not good. That's why I didn't take it. I was like, "Can I
Love it.
just try a different one? Maybe that one will be less yucky."
They don't worry that that'll lower your blood pressure more or something like.
They do, but with the hyperthyroid stuff that was going on, it's the only thing they offer to
Mm.
treat. And so she was like, you just have to watch your blood pressure. So literally, I could not take a high enough dose to treat the heart palpitations, just kind of turn the volume down on it, because my blood pressure would get too low. Um, so yeah, that was fun. I'm taking like half a pill now, and that's not too bad. I'm pretty tired in the morning, but it wears off after about 8 hours or so. Um, but yeah, that's why I'm like, most people they're prescribed like 3 or 4 times the dose that they prescribed me because of that. Plus, I always ask for the lowest absolute dose of everything that might have an impact on my fatigue or my brain,
Mhm.
because I am very sensitive to a lot of stuff. So I would rather start low and get the low, it could be at the lowest dose uh, to get good results if I
Just
have to
make sure
take,
it's worth it.
yeah. And then there's the other stuff like narcotics just don't work on me. I can take a really high dose and they don't work on me. So like
Mhm.
they make me tired, but they don't turn my pain down at all. So then when I had surgery, they had to like talk me into taking them because I was like, well, they don't really help my pain. So why should I take them?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I only feel that way too, and I mean, like, I wanna take as few things as I can get away with. I know that
Yeah.
I need a lot because of all the things going on with me, but, like, just keep it to a minimum, and it's like, like you're saying, like, with the brain fog, where it's just like, I've only got so much brain to go around these days, and I don't want you taking a piece unless you have to.
Right. Yeah. I know. And then staying on top of taking the meds is a whole thing too. So like I have like an organizer thing and it's rainbows and it's like a month. So once a month I do that and I just put a TV show on, organize my pills, takes like an hour. And then that way I don't have to worry, did I forget to take my pills or did I get them all or,
That is so funny. Yeah, I have mine in a rainbow organizer too because you got a nice visual cue because I can't I don't I shouldn't rely on my memory and I like just pick it up and I go, oh, it's still in there, so I forgot. I'll do it now. You know,
Yep. Yeah,
and
it's
you
the
have to
other day of
test
the
stuff.
week. So it's yeah. And then I always worry that I took the nighttime one in the morning. So then I can reassure myself by going and looking to be
Mhm.
like, nope, okay, I didn't.
Yeah, that's helped so much that I got Samantha one, and then I have these little timers that go off so I can remind her. I'm like, hey, do you take your morning stuff? And either yes or no, it ends up being done. So that's cool. And then my
Yep.
kid's like, Mama, did you take your morning stuff? And I'm just like, no. For some reason, for some reason, telling somebody else every morning that you take your morning stuff does not remind me that I also have morning stuff. I don't know how that works, but that's been an ongoing problem.
I'm really good at remembering other people's shit. Like, like I
You
even at
are too.
work, I would remind my coworkers that they had like a dentist appointment or whatever. I'd be like, "Hey, shouldn't you have left by now to get to your dentist on time?" And they'd be like, "Oh shit, yeah, I gotta go." And I'm like, how do I remember that? But then like
Hypervigilance. I think that's
Yeah. I'll lose track of time on my stuff. Actually, ever since like getting my ADHD treated, that has gotten better, but it used to be like really bad that I would lose track of my stuff.
yeah. I feel like I wake up and then I start to figure out what to do for my day, and an alarm goes off telling me the day's over, and I don't know how it happens. Seems to happen at least 6 days a week where generally nothing gets done, and I'm just like, okay, I have to do as much as I can so that I can stay on my sleep schedule. Because I don't know about you, I have this like horrendous kind of a night owl, and if I don't um very carefully curate the amount of time that I'm asleep and awake, then I'm just going to end up sleeping until 4 or 5 p.m. every day. And I literally can't live like that. Like, I won't get any cancer treatments or any of my other. I can't call the insurance. I can't take care of a lot of. I have to be awake during business hours. It's important.
Yeah. It's so hard. So before my health issue started way back when, I slept maybe 3 hours a night. I had that sort of stereotypical autistic relationship with sleep where I didn't sleep a lot. And I also just didn't seem like I needed more. And then after my health issue started, I started sleeping like 6 hours a night, which apparently people with chronic fatigue sleep like 12 or more hours on average, but six was a lot for me. Um, but after my hysterectomy, I started sleeping like 8 hours and going to bed at like 11:30 midnight. Like I have I have always not been able to fall asleep until like 3 or 4 in the morning. That's just how I've always been wired. And like my they removed that part of my body and my sleep schedule changed to where I was waking up and not feeling too bad either, and functional by like 10 in the morning. I could go to a doctor's appointment before noon and get there on time. Like, and that used to be like a whole thing where I was trying to fit all the business hour stuff in after like 1 p.m., and it was really hard to like juggle it. But since November, it's kind of, my health issues have been like keeping me pretty dysfunctional until noon or 1 o'clock. So now I'm back to that. And I'm like, kind of, it feels familiar and that's nice. But also, I kind of miss having a little bit more of the day to you know,
Yeah, I was always the opposite. I would just sleep 12 hours every day or longer if I could get away with it. Just depending on like school or later I have a kid, but like I don't know, since the tumors start wrecking my organs, I can't lay down long enough to sleep very much. So I sleep between 3 and 6 hours. Then I come and sit here, and however many times I can fall asleep sitting up like this before noon is that's all the rest I get. It might
yeah,
be a couple more hours, it might be nothing. And I'm getting like badly sleep deprived, but it's another thing that doesn't have an answer because, like I said, it doesn't relate to my cancer. So there's not a specialist that has looked at it. And everyone who's not a specialist has been like, why don't you go to bed early? And I'm like, you
that's not
think I
gonna,
would live like this for this number of years without trying to go to bed early?
yeah. Plus, like, the science is pretty conclusive that like our natural biological clock is what it is, and trying to force it to do something else makes you sick. But also, you have stuff crushing your organs, and I feel like that would be under the oncologist purview, even if it's an oncologist pain doctor, or like,
You know something? They have given me muscle relaxers for it and painkillers for it. Nothing helps. It is a different kind of pain. that stops if I don't lay down. And so far, just not laying down is the only thing that helps. So they're honestly baffled. And uh, again, everyone that's not a specialist has nothing because they actually did try. And they're like, "How old is your mattress?" And I'm like, "I think my mattress is 64 years old." It is. So
Well,
I got a new
if
mattress. That was not it.
yeah. No, I feel like if it's pressure on your organs, your bed's not gonna matter, but I wonder, if you had, like a recliner or a bed that adjusts so that you could be at an angle, but, you know.
You said that to me, and then I said, "Oh yeah, I've got that recliner right here." And I haven't sat in it once since that happened. I'm like looking at it, but like, oh,
I've been relying, since the stuff happened in November, I've been relying on my recliner a lot because the anxiety is much worse when I lay down. So, as soon as it kicks in, I would like jump out of bed and go sit in the recliner and then put the thing on my belly and then kind of drift in and out of sleep through the waves of weird ass symptoms, and, helps a bit.
wait, what were you doing?
Huh?
Oh, what did you say that you were doing? The
Oh, using my recliner to, sleep a little bit more after my body wakes me up because I would only get like 4 hours of sleep and then I couldn't lay down anymore, so I'd have to sit up, and then I used the recliner to get myself into a position that the symptoms were not quite as intense, and then I could sort of drift in and out of sleep.
it got kind of
So
sad for a second. This had like a revelation. Okay, so like I used to love the Dick Van Dyke Show as a kid, and that's I just wanted to be just like him when I grew up. Like I just wanted to be a silly goose that wrote for a comedy show. That's like actually like all I could think about. And I realized in some ways I'm gonna be like the show because if that recliner thing works, we're gonna be in separate beds. You're like, "Oh, Samantha, you're here, and we're married, and it's all set up, and this is your home now. I sleep in the living room. Good luck with that."
Yeah.
Like,
They do make, adjustable mattresses with two halves. So, you guys could always invest in that. If you do find that sleeping at an angle helps, eventually you could have your half of the bed at the angle you need, and then you guys can still hold hands.
I had one doctor just go way too far with it. Like, it went from "There's nothing we can do" to "Well, if the new mattress didn't help, I can see if I can get you a gurney." Like sometimes they'll like approve putting a gurney in your house, and I'm like, "Oh, like okay." I know I'm like doing really bad, and they talk about it a lot, but I don't want to start sleeping in a gurney till I have to. This is not the time. You can get back to me on that in a little while.
Yeah. Yeah, my bed frame adjusts and it has a vibration thing, so it like and it's not very strong, but it like
It's a
feels
wiggle
nice on my
jiggle.
back. Yeah, it just kind of.
Oh wow.
Cool.
Okay. No, I should probably actually look into that, huh?
Yeah.
Samantha has like all the arthritis, so maybe it wouldn't even need to be two separate zones. Maybe we just both need something like that.
Yeah.
That's something to think about, huh? That
Yeah,
like
definitely.
the frame does it. Like you
Yeah,
need
the
a special
frame
mattress
like
for it.
yeah, well, any like sort of like memory foam mattress or whatever, they will just adjust with it, but yeah, like mine, the top where your head goes does this, and then the bottom comes up like this so you can have your feet up. And I actually really like when it's like this because there's a little dip, and like my body really likes being in the dip, and I'll like curl up in it. I don't know why, it feels really nice though.
And no, I remember that from the hospital bed doing that. That does make it less terrible. course, I don't want to ever sleep on a hospital mattress again, at least not till I
Oh,
have
no. Oh,
to.
they hurt me so much. I had to the last time I was in the hospital, I had to get, them to add a separate they have, like, these I don't remember what they're called, they had a weird word for it, but it's basically like a mattress topper that they put on because the mattress was allowing me to sink in a way where it was pushing my shoulders forward, and then it was causing my bursitis to, like, act up, and it was like, I just had a hysterectomy and my shoulders hurt more than, the surgery spot, and I was like, "Something's wrong with the bed," and they're like,
Yeah,
"Oh, yeah, we can put a mattress topper on." I'm like, and that helped a lot, and I was like, "Why didn't you just do that to begin with?" Like
you have to need it.
yeah.
I haven't gotten one of those because I haven't needed one. But my kid got one, but only when they got worse.
Well, and when I got my heart was I think it was my heart procedure, the bed that they had in that part of the hospital moved all the time.
Oh no.
So the patient, it would move you so that it was awful. And I was like, why does the bed have to keep moving? And they're like, well, it's to like protect you from blah blah blah. And I'm just like, but I can't sleep. It won't stop moving. This is weird. Like,
Feel
so I was,
protected in kind of bumper car situation you got here, guys. Like,
yeah, especially since I was getting up and going to the bathroom and moving around, and I didn't
mm,
need that. I was just like, it was so creepy. I was really worried that the beds after my hysterectomy were gonna have it, but they didn't. So good.
neat. It was really cool when my fiance was here because it was so crazy, but she came in and put her stuff down in the bedroom and she's like, "It's okay if I take this side of the bed." She's like, "You won't even notice any difference with me here. I like to just really curl up on." Okay, now I have to look at my hands to know what I'm talking about. I really like to just curl up on the left side of the bed and just kind of like freeze there. And I'm like, "Oh, that's perfect." They just gonna curl up on the edge of the right side of the bed. Both they're just being very autistic, just doing her own separate thing when like she's got like
Yeah,
headphones because the thing that she listens to sleep is different than the thing I listen to sleep. I mean, it's like
yeah.
not
That's
romantic at all. I loved it.
that that's its own like it's romantic because it's perfect for you guys. Like that's how I think about that stuff. Yeah, I'm very like I like keep my own sleep space. Don't touch me when I'm sleeping. I don't, like oh, like if their feet touch me when I'm sleeping, it's all over. I'm gonna go lay on the couch. Like it's like nope. But some people are like, oh, I like to cuddle, and I'm like, you probably shouldn't date me because I don't like that.
Yeah, no, I need this sleeping every night. Sleeping is an entire ordeal, and I'm a very cuddly person. So I'm just like all the during the day, I'm like over here like all cuddly on the couch, you know? But when I'm attempting to fall asleep, it's go time. Really, I really gotta focus.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a thing and I make the choice. It's intentional. Yeah. I'm amazed by people who just fall asleep. Like they can just do it. And I'm like, okay, I have to choose to sleep.
It's funny when those people give you advice. They're just like, what I do is I turn all the lights off and I like turn off all the sounds and then I just fall asleep. And I'm like, I know. See, I don't have one of those.
Yeah. I don't even feel sleepy. I'm awake. And then when I decide to go to bed, at some point I fall asleep. Like there is
Uh-huh.
no like, and if I wanted to, I could just choose to stay up. Just
Yes.
And I used to do that a lot. I used to stay up for a couple days at a time and then be like, "Oh,
Oh,
I guess I should go to sleep."
when I was painting, that would be amazing because if I got an idea, I would just start to paint. And if it was almost sunrise, then I go, well, sunrise is just gonna happen without me because I'm not done here. And it would just go because I could tap into it. It's weirdly like once you get past the ick of it being like maybe like 11, 12, 1, I just get a second wind where I have like I just like on to the next few things until bedtime the next day. I don't know what that's about, but yeah, if I'm
Yeah.
up for a certain amount of time, it's just done. I'm like, all right.
Yep. I try to be better about sleeping now that it I can really feel like it has an impact. But when I was younger, I just, yeah, I would just stay up and it was like, just made sense to me. And
Yeah.
also sometimes like when like I was stuck in a routine for a while, like taking my kid to school, it would be nice to like stay up all night sometimes as like a flex of control in my life.
Well, you feel the exhausted people with the babies, right? And they're just
Yeah.
constantly, and their eyes are all just droopy. And it's just like, well, I don't know. I wasn't gonna sleep well anyway. I like my baby's not sleeping great. I'm not sleeping great. It's just it happens.
Yeah.
We're related. Whatever.
Yeah, I think I was pretty lucky that he slept pretty well for a baby, but I also would just sleep when he slept. So we would nap together and I just got my sleep that way. And
It
yeah.
was rough. That first month, it was rough because the kid never wanted to sleep, like never. But I think once 2, 3 months came along, somewhere in there, they just started sleeping 12 hours. Whenever I put them down to sleep, they wouldn't even stir, get up for 12 hours. So I would do the same thing. I would just be because I was just like just such a sleeper. Yeah, it was messed up, but I could just make up for later. And I've heard that you can't, but I don't know what they're talking about because I could just stay up 2 or 3 days and then just sleep 18 hours and I'm reset. I'm all good. Like,
Yeah.
although my brain does work different. Like I get
Yeah.
told that every day. Oh my goodness! Like my
Yeah, I think
my brain's a
everybody's
celebrity.
different. Like I know people that like their sleep deprivation is like yeah, there's no catching up for them without like long-term good sleep stuff. But I was the same way if I didn't get enough sleep or whatever. I just needed a good crash and then I was good
Yeah.
for a while.
When people are like, "You must drink so much coffee," and I'm like, "Oh, I don't. I don't like coffee. It's yucky."
Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't
how do
start
you
drink
stay awake?
I didn't start
I
drink
just
coffee until my 40s. I never liked it. And now and I didn't like chocolate either. And then now I like both, in moderation, but I'm picky. I only like certain kinds.
I'm really glad you brought that up because it bugs my brain in the same way, and I don't have people agree with me on that too much. But like, I feel like they're just bitter in the same way that like I feel not safe sometimes when like chocolate isn't just the ridiculous garbage milk chocolate like almost no solids kind of deal, and I'm
Yeah.
fine with that as long as it's in something, although I can't just eat it, my throat gets all seized up. But like anything anything a little bit darker, like Hershey's chocolate is a little bit too dark, and then the dark chocolate it just feels like pain. And coffee, I get this like I don't know. I think there must have always been use of people like me, right? That can taste this little trace bitterness and go, guys, we're not safe. You know,
Yeah.
it's just that my
Yeah.
alarm never stopped going off, and we're not really in that era where we're discovering what's edible.
Yeah. It's oh, dark chocolate. Yeah, and it makes me sneeze. Like the some people have the sun makes them sneeze.
Uh
Chocolate does that to me.
huh.
I don't know. So
Neat.
like if I smell it or like take a bite and it's like good quality chocolate or dark chocolate or whatever, I sneeze. It's so weird.
Yeah, if the sun gets right in my eyes, I sneeze. Also it burns, and I know like it burns everybody, but like if I'm like sitting here with one of the side windows open and the little sunbeam comes through and touches my arm, I can feel it doing that because it only takes
Yeah,
a few seconds to hurt. I'm like, "Ah, yucky."
it's too much. My skin gets all like and then it'll itch for a while after and stuff. It's like, yeah, I have blackout curtains and I have behind that I have blinds and so I have half of the blackout curtain pinned up but the blinds are still down and that's the light in here and I'm like, that's fine. I just take vitamin D.
I feel like I'm a good like combination of the different things. Like I guess my family history is a lot of English, a big chunk of English, and then half is like Mexico, and I'm just like I uh I really crave a lot of light, like so much light. Like if I'm not just surrounded by light a certain amount during the day, I like actually have noticeable depression. Like I start having less hope about random stuff and just
Mhm.
being like bummed out. But at the same time, I really can't have any amount of sunlight because then you get that English mixed in with it too, where it's just like I need. So I find myself with a lot of artificial light. It's ridiculous. That was another thing that was like the opposite of of a lot of the people in that autistic group. Is they would have like sunglasses on and like headphones to just only hear, so they could like turn down people talking.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I have to have it very bright, and I can't control the volume of my voice. And then,
Yeah. Yeah. The volume thing with the voice thing is supposed to be pretty common with autism and
neat.
ADHD, but like yeah, I'm pretty light sensitive in general, but as I get older I need more light and that's a little bit like frustrating, but I found that if I get the right kind of light bulbs, right kind of lamps, it's more comfortable to be bright because some of them have like a flicker that apparently some people cannot perceive, but I can perceive.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that fluorescent stuff. It's just strobing the whole
Yeah,
time.
it's
Awful.
awful.
And I start to
Yeah.
feel like I'm getting a fever. Do you get that? Like just like hotness in the face.
Yeah, I can't I
They're
get
worried it
super
was
stressed out and
epilepsy, but
I need to leave. I'm like, I must be out. The last place that I stayed at, all the recessed lighting was that kind of lighting, and it was just I just
well, it's
never
like a
used them because
horror
it was
movie, right?
awful. Yeah,
And it
and people
feels like
don't see
it feels
it.
it's like beaming right at you, and it feels like it's just bleaching my face off too because I start to get feverish from it, and yeah, you're right. Everyone's just like, no, this is a normal day, and I'm just like, no, no, guys, I'm pretty sure this is like a Saw movie because there's lights like ripping my skin apart, and we're just waiting for phase two, and they're like, no, I'm good, and I'm just.
Yeah, yep. That's how my housemate like totally doesn't the lights didn't bother him at all, and I was just like, how because it's like flickering. How do you not see the flickering? Like, what's happening? It's weird. But
Yeah,
thankfully
totally.
this place has like they installed recessed lighting, but they put in nice LED bulbs that don't do that.
Oh, I love LED bulbs. Oh my goodness. But like
Uh,
sometimes when I'm like working on a video, I'll have so many lights just because I want like a different effect. And so sometimes there'll be like a ring light here and a ring light here, and then like the ceiling light going so I can see background stuff. So then there's just like I'm telling Samantha, like, if you're light sensitive, we gotta deal with that way up front in this relationship because there's times where I've got like six lights, but wait, there's times when I have seven lights pointed at me at once, and that's just gonna happen sometimes. Like,
that's funny. Interesting though. The variations in brains and the things that are comfortable and not. Mm.
my dad loves the sun, and he can just get all of the sun. And sometimes on hot days, he'll just go walk in the sun for fun. And we just have very different lives.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't I also feel like the sun has gotten ruder in my lifetime. Like it didn't feel as intense when I was a kid, you know?
Yeah, yeah, it'll cook you.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I didn't used to burn and I still tend to turn brown, but my skin will hurt even though it doesn't look burnt. And it just doesn't. So I'm like, yeah,
Yeah, even
I
if I
don't need to
don't
be in
get
that.
burned, it's hot to the touch and it's awful. But if I do get burned, it bubbles up and it blisters. And then people are like, well, at least you tan easy. I'm like, no, 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 no. Under the blisters is white. It's this nothing nothing gets through there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I have some of my dad's facial features, but none of the skin tone. It's
That's
all
funny.
the
Yeah. I haven't looked at myself and I looked and I was like, it didn't look like me, like my teeth. It kind of looks like it's doing like stretching the camera out or something or the image out. The um my skin tone is like my mom's, but she burns like really easily, and then I just turn brown. It's weird. But I have in my car, my windows are tinted, like all the side and back are dark, and then the front one I had a clear tint or clear layer put on there that's a UV blocking, and I forget how hot the sun is when I'm in the car because I get protection in my car and I get into somebody else's car and the sun comes through the windshield and it's like it's not it's a lot. I'm just like, oh.
Yeah, I don't know how people drive. I ended up getting some steering wheel covers for family members with sensitive skin because they're like, "Oh, what happened?" I'm like, they're like, "I touched my steering wheel" or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, the UV protection helps a lot with that too because I have leather seats and they're hot.
Mhm. Yeah,
I'm
yeah. I know we
happy.
leave these metal boxes outside. I don't know. We gotta
Right.
find some new coverings for those things.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy I get to park my car in a covered spot now. And so it's getting protection from the sun. And I'm like, yay. I'd like to get a cover for it someday just so that I could get it cleaned and just protect it a little better. But it just fact that it's not directly in the sun is nice too.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
yeah. Nothing directly in the sun is just a not here, not here. Oh my goodness. Do you ever like get those people that okay, like I get it nationally, but I don't get it around here where it's like um barbecuing in the summer. Because I know like in some places that are cold a lot, hey, it warmed up. We're gonna be outside. That's cool. It's always cool to go outside here. And that is like the absolute worst time. It's like there's a magnifying glass, just
Yeah.
kind of like heating
And the
everything up
air.
and like let's stand in front of 1,000-degree fire today
Yeah.
for burgers.
And then the smoke just sits there, doesn't go anywhere because there's no wind and it's hot and it's yeah.
Because I don't get it. Like the whole block will smell like burgers because everyone's barbecuing at once, and I'm like, you you waited for it to be hot to stand in front of a fire. Like we should have the opposite here. We should be like, yay, it's December. Let's get that grill going. We don't get snow, like
Yeah. I've never understood the there's like a cultural schedule for barbecuing, whereas I
yeah,
grill when I want to cook something in that way. I don't do it for the season or a holiday. I do it when I want it, which is often when it's cooler outside.
yeah.
Um,
Well,
yeah,
then it's
it's
fun to stand in front of the grill.
yeah. Plus
Oh my
like
goodness.
plus the mosquitoes in summertime suck. So
They like me and not my kid. Like it's actually very clear. Like they would be like running around in shorts and a t-shirt, like, yay, I'm outside in the grass, like kids do frolicking and whatever. And I would be like, they'd be in the backyard frolicking, and I'd be here on the couch, just like an ice pack on my face, being like, oh, the heat. And they'll come in after hours and hours and hours and hours, and I will have gotten 3 mosquito bites in the living room because they will come under the door or through the keyhole to bite me, and the kid will come in with nothing. They'll have a tan and no mosquito bites, just having fun in the outdoors, and I'm like, uh, good job.
I remember going camping with my mom when I was a kid, and mosquitoes, some types of mosquitoes really like me and some don't. And so the ones that are more common here and where we went camping, don't really care for me as much, but they really like my mom. And like her ankles were like covered in bites. And she was just like, because I was like, I don't have any bites. And she's like, "Arr." Yeah, they really love my son as well. And I'm
Oh,
like, like but the ones out by where the RV is, where my son lives, they're like year round, and those ones do like me. Not as much as I like him, but they do like me. And the bites are like gnarly, like like I got these big welts, and I'm just like, damn, they're huge.
yeah, yeah. No, the thing is, I try and stay home from camping anyway, because I also when I get cold, like down to my bones cold, like cold that just doesn't wear off with anything but time. And
Yeah.
so I love being out there, especially when there's lots of trees and I can be in the shade and I can just enjoy. It's a whole different sensory experience, and I think it's just completely unique with just like plants around you. There's not any mechanical sounds, there's not any electrical sounds. There is just animals being, and it's fascinating and it makes my brain happy. And then I'm never allowed to just pick up and go home like a couple hours later. It's like, no, we
Yeah.
stay here. And I'm like, oh,
Uh,
that's a whole different thing entirely. Yeah. Oh,
yeah, I don't like I really don't like sleeping in tents. The When I was first married, right after my son was born, we lived in an area called Rio Neto, which is right outside Guerneville. And it's basically in the redwoods. So our backyard was this hill that went up that was covered in redwood trees. And so I got the feeling of camping in my house just by opening the window by my bed and laying there and listening to the trees and smelling them and stuff, especially when it was raining. It was really cool. And that made me realize that I don't need to go camping. Just maybe someday I want to live somewhere that has less people and trees.
yeah. Yeah, because it's beautiful to witness, but I don't want to live there, like um
Yeah.
it just I can't sleep when I'm shivering that hard. And no matter what part of summer it is, I'm shivering real hard. I just get cold and then it won't wear off. I think I stop shivering the night after we get back, because like I'm there, I'm unpacking my stuff and all that. Well, I'm back in the day, and I'm getting everything put away and all that stuff you do after you've been camping. And I'm not warm till I wake up. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I always had the issue that like the whole going to the bathroom thing stressed me out. And for some
oh,
reason, even though I normally don't have to go pee until I'm awake and moving around, I always have to go pee at like 6 in the morning when I go camping. And I have to get up and it's cold and it's the whole process. And I'm like, man, yeah, I don't like it. And I
yeah, I
don't
mean,
like,
maybe it's
I
just
like
the shivering.
fire, but I don't like smoke, and there's that too. And the smoke always follows me.
I do love fire and smoke. I do like okay, I like getting home and all of my clothes smell like smoke, that we brought. Like that was always fun. I went camping with my cousin for like a week one time. And it was just out at this lake, and I don't even know where or why all this was happening, but I guess there's like toads all around this lake, and they've got like a mating season. Okay, let me start with this.
Horny
I a
toads.
weird yes. Oh, actually. Oh, I never thought of that. Oh no, that makes it so much sillier. Oh my goodness. Okay, like I have this phobia of toads. Like I know that there are other things around that could actually hurt me in some way, but that's what gets to me. Like, oh, I think it's just because it looks like a lump, it looks like a rock, but it could jump up into my face with no effort at a moment's notice, and that kind of chaos makes me continuously edgy, and like I can't. And when we get up there, it looks normal, but within a day or two, there's like these toad piles. They all kind of squish up together, and that was fine. And I was just kind of like ignoring it and standing over by the grill and whatever people do when they're camping. But like that night, I had to get up and I had to go pee. There was nothing I could do about it. My bladder's already like hurting. I don't know why. I also just been like drink a lot of sodas or something that night. I'm prone to doing that. But like, yeah, like I had to get up, and I'm like, I was a lot more religious at the time, and I'm like literally like praying to God, please, please no. If I step in a toad pile, I'll actually die. Like my heart will stop, and I'm like, you don't understand. I'll please, like every single step. I'm like, no, I can't see, and I have to go and pee somewhere and not step in a toad pile. Yeah, you're right. I'm praying to God that I don't put my foot in this pile of horny toads. That is what happened. Oh no, that's weird.
I had a friend who had a phobia of frogs, and I decided that I was gonna be an asshole about this. And I started leaving like things around the house that were frogs, like stickers. It's like nothing too like, but still like enough to trigger him a little bit. I got a like a stuffed animal toy that's like a blanket with a frog head. I left that across his bed. And he like went in there and he's like, "Oh my God, why do you keep doing this to me?" And I there's this band that I really like, and they have a song where the background is like frogs. So like we got in the car and turned on really loud. Like it's like this thing where he's like simultaneously very amused and then also really wanted to strangle me. I mean, I
Yeah,
wouldn't have
that'll
done it if he
happen.
was really upset. There was definitely like, every now and again I would check in, but it was so much fun trying to think of like ways to like push at his phobia without, like I didn't get anything too realistic or whatever, but it was enough to like drive him crazy, but it's fun. I just never heard of a phobia like that, so it was like very interesting to me.
Yeah, and like most frogs don't bug me. Some frogs bug me. I think it's because like it's that dirt looking aspect of toads, you know?
Mhm.
But yeah, no, it is fascinating. You know what? I hate I hate very often people that have never seen me in my makeup before will refuse to ever see me in my makeup because they're afraid of clowns. And I always like try and find a way for them to see if I can help it. 'Cause, like, I don't want to scare anybody, but
Yeah.
I'm like the least scary clown there is.
Yeah.
Like it's really it's not even. Well, I think maybe clowns should stop whitening their faces so much. Like
Yeah.
some people, and like you look fine when you do it, but some people that stark white
Well, they get
really
say like
changes the proportions of their face so much.
yeah. And I think like part of the discomfort is when the makeup, especially like old school clown style that people tend to have an association with, they redraw the facial features so that the facial expression that the human is making, you can't actually see it. You can only see the expression that was drawn on by the makeup, right? And that's very like there's something uncomfortable about that. I didn't really like clowns when I was a kid because I couldn't read their faces. And I think that like more modern clowns and the like internet clowns and stuff that we tend to do our makeup with our facial features more. So, and consistently, if you look at like horror clowns, their makeup style is where the facial expression is put on with the makeup, where you can't see the human expression. And I think that is a big part of it, even if people don't always realize what it is that bugs them. But I do have a lot of people that will be like, I'm usually scared of clowns, but yours don't bother me. And I'm like, thanks. But
Yay!
inside I'm thinking it's probably because you can see my facial expressions, and you know, I
I
think that
actually
helps.
never thought of that. Like I'm not the best with the facial expressions. So that never crossed my mind that other people that can tell from all this get cues from it so that there's like so they're probably like erasing those cues when they make such an exaggerated mouth and
Exactly.
stuff.
Yeah.
I
And
don't I
I
just
I,
I
I
usually can't
pay
tell either way, so that's
yeah.
interesting.
I pay really close attention to facial expressions because I'm not always good at reading them. So when that information is gone completely, I'm like, okay, what's happening?
I
I
was
have
talking about the starkness of the different areas, but you're
yeah.
right, that probably makes more sense as people get this kind of uncanny valley alarm bells, right? Like,
Yeah, I think that is part of it. Because we rely so much on like these little bits of information that come from the face, and when you put the makeup on the right way, that information's gone.
huh. I have a really hard time looking at people's faces. A lot of times I pretend to, like I'll look vaguely here,
Yeah,
but I go a lot off of somebody's voice. I get a lot of voice cues.
yeah,
And so when I'm just texting somebody that I don't know very well, sometimes I have to ask like excessive questions, especially if the person can be sarcastic. I will be completely in the weeds from like minute one because I'm not getting any voice cues.
Yeah.
But that would be like somebody how they would feel if their face was just covered all up.
Yeah.
I
I have
wonder
to
because
tell
I'm such
people in text to use emotes because I'm like, there's no body language. Why are you expecting me to get the body language through your text? Use emotes and that will tell me you're being silly or serious or, you know, yeah, it's because people are like, well, I was just joking. And I'm like, I, okay, but I didn't, how am I supposed to get
because
that?
some people get so offended, right? They'll tell you they'll say, "And I'm like such and such," and I'll be like, "Oh, okay," or like, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that," and they'll just be like, "I was kidding," and I'm just like, "Huh." And they'll be like really frustrated because like you actually think that I would such and such, and on my end, I'm like, I just kind of accept you how you are. You want to make random confessions to me, I'm all for it. Like,
Exactly. I just like I accept people at face value that, it's like why, and sometimes it's like why would you tell me something about yourself that's not true as a joke? Why is
yeah, I
lying a
don't
joke?
understand. Usually,
Like
what I tell people is I can't hear sarcasm because sometimes even when I can see and hear them, I still don't understand quite, you know.
yeah.
And yeah, sometimes like I hear have people do this as a joke. They're like, in that case, I hate you forever, and I'm just like, oh well, we don't have to do that. We could do something else, and then maybe you won't. And they get really mad because they're like, why would I ever say that? And I'm just sitting here like, well, I don't know why you would say that, but you did. So I'm just trying to
Yeah.
heal the connection here,
Yeah.
and I'm
Yeah.
I'm very clearly making it worse, but I don't know how to unravel all that.
Yeah. It's like, oh, do you want to do this? And they're like, no, I really don't want to do that. And then I'll be like, okay. No, I was just kidding. I'm like,
Yeah,
and then I can't unhear the joke that because to me there's always a little bit of truth in every joke, right? So then I'm like, what so does that mean they didn't really want to do it, but they were joking, but they didn't want to be on, like it's like then I get confused because I'm like, why did they make the joke? I don't understand why it's funny. I don't understand the joke. Like
like I see a pattern now. It always gets me, but I see this pattern where it's just like sometimes when people make that "I hate you," they mean I'm happy for you and low level envious of what you just said. But I only get that after the fact because I don't want to just ever let a statement like that sit. So
yeah.
so they're just like, oh, and I got this thing. Oh, I hate you. No, like,
I don't understand why people don't say what they mean. Like
so
because
much.
it's because then they're like, well, no, no, it meant this, and I'm like, but that's not what the words mean. Like,
And then we can't just change what that means in this context then and go, okay, well, when I'm talking to you, this will mean that. Because it won't mean that a minute later when they say that about something else.
yeah,
And they're like, yeah, well, the difference is obvious. And I'm just like, I don't have a obvious then. Because
yeah, it's only obvious to them because they can see the inside of their brain.
sometimes I do a thing like that with my kid, but I do it every single time for no reason. And I put like a weird little voice. I put talk like my dad, you know? Um, I guess I do that sometimes. Every once in a while, they'll say something that is just exceptionally reasonable, you know? It's just like, oh, we're out of this kind of bread, so I'll use this kind of bread. And I was like, no way. And I'll just act like I don't believe it. But I like, so on some level, I think I get it because I'll do that. Although, my fiance says that that's like maybe an autistic thing to just say no to something very reasonable as a joke. But
Yeah,
I
I do
don't know
that
why that's
too.
the only form I understand, right? It's only that one particular form. Or it's just like, oh, uh, what was the thing? I don't know, just something very simple like, okay, I'm gonna take the dog out before we leave. I'm like, no way. Like just
Uh-uh.
don't believe
Yeah.
that at all.
Yeah, I definitely kind of have that humor too. So, like a smart ass kind of humor, but there's nothing like, I don't feel like that's hard to understand, it's just kind of,
My
yeah.
dad loves catchphrases, and so I think I get most of my symptoms from him, and we just are. It just presents differently. Um, my parents actually did get a divorce at one point, and I think it was not a small part of it that he won't stop doing those things, and she'll just expressly say, "Don't do that anymore," and he just will refuse to even listen and hear her out on this. And so like he's in the 80s, he's doing "That's not a knife," just over and over. He's like, "I'll be back" every time he leaves the room. Every time my mom's holding some food, he'll be like, "Get over here." It's just like always something like that. He'd be like, "Yeah, baby," and just like with the and and she'd just be like, "I hate my life and I'm gonna stop coming home." And and I, I remember as a kid being frustrated with how much chaos that brought to our lives, because she would genuinely sometimes go to the store and just not want to hear him do a catchphrase one more time and genuinely not come home. Like she
Yeah.
would just stay at a friend's house and be like, "I'm not coming home. I'm sick of what goes on over there." And he still couldn't stop. And now that I'm a parent, like, and I get it, I don't do the same things, but like yeah, the profound lack of impulse control. It really overrides a lot of stuff.
It's some of that's like my son and I both do stuff like that. We randomly like blurt out like things, and the "I'll be back" thing. I still say that sometimes, and one of my favorites is from like Warcraft 2, where like when we're driving on the freeway, we can see the apartment building we live in, and I'll be like, "I can see my house from here." And it's like you think I'd get tired of it, but like pretty much every time I drive past, I'm like, I do it again, you know.
It's been like 3 years of this. Like, okay, like I'm drawing a picture, and my kid's like, "Oh, I want to draw a shark." Like, look, it's a baby hammerhead shark, and it has no thoughts. It put a bunch of exclamation question marks above its head, and I'm like, "Oh, it's very confused." And then, "What are you talking about, baby hammerhead?" Because we're just always turn everything into a minor conversation, and then the hammer just like, "What, baby?" And then I'm like, "Hammer." And that was it. I don't know why, but we laughed really hard about that. And every once in a while, when someone or something is just excessively confusing, I just go like, "Baby," and then it's like, "Hammer?" I'm like, yeah, I had to be like with my fiance. I'm like, "Okay, there's gonna be some running gags, and you're not missing the reference. We're doing callbacks to our own actual lives, and it's never going to stop. So if somebody just says hammer, that's just fine to happen."
I think that would be fun, all the inside stuff.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool being able to share those because I'm not on TV yet. Like, what gives? I saw a YouTube video that said like, "Oh yeah, watch me on your phone," or I don't know, yeah, "Put me on the TV and watch with your mom." And I was just like, I'm actually the mom watching on TV, kid." And they're just like, "Oh, I know."
it was it was I used to watch YouTube videos of my son when we lived together. Now he sends them to me, so
Neat.
yeah. I'm
I just
always
realized
like
it's
it when
gonna
he
move
sends me
out.
stuff. Like to see what he finds funny and he only sends me stuff that he thinks I'm gonna find funny too. So
That's
it's usually
neat. No, that's
dark.
gonna be how it is when they move out, huh?
Yeah.
Because it would be very unreasonable to watch that much YouTube when they have a home to go to and a job. They just feel like, "Look, no, I can't watch YouTube until bedtime because I have to go to bed where my bed is. It's not here." Like,
What? Yeah, it's so far away.
That's weird.
Yeah, he's starting to be on my podcast now. We're like going to do regular. He's going to be a regular visitor guest on my podcast. So that's cool.
Neat.
Get
That's
to have
gonna be
like,
so cool. I love it.
yeah. So I get to look forward to having a conversation, and plus I get to kind of show him off. Be like, look, he's my kid.
Yeah, maybe sometime you could teach me how you do the things and the stuff. I still won't have any equipment, but it
Yeah,
would be weird to not have you come on at least once, you know?
yeah, that would be cool. The videos that you put on YouTube sounded good. So I don't think you need
Yeah,
anything special. Yeah.
neat. Did I tell you why I called it that? No, I did, huh? It just old people keep shooting at me.
Yeah. I don't know if I can't remember if you told me. Remind me.
Well, like, I tried to think of a cute little name, and I had some little quirky names, and they were taken because I'm like searching them, and I'm like, okay, something that gets direct to the point. They were all taken. I'm like, okay, there's too many podcasts. All right, that's fine, and there are, and then whatever's. But like, I thought if I can't get funny and I can't get specific to what I'm gonna do, let me just get specific to me because no one's gonna take something that's just a callback from my own life. And at one point, my sister had wood paneling all around in her bedroom, but it was all painted white. It was terrible. And all of us, we kind of just like my parents own the house, so we just kind of each took a panel and painted something on there, and it was fun. And I did a lot of painting. I painted two of the walls just myself with these big murals, and that was fun. And with the panel I took, I painted clouds all up and down, and then from ceiling to floor. I wrote, and back down and up again, I wrote an interview that I gave myself for no reason in my head. And like, and I at one point the interviewer asked me if I'm a nice person, and I'm like, well, yeah, like I'm so nice that old people keep shooting at me. And I don't know why, but like as a teenager, I couldn't think of anyone in the world nicer than older people because it's like you were saying, like every person my age or even close to my age was really harsh, and I couldn't figure out why. So I didn't know what autism was really, and,
Yeah.
so I just like, yeah, there's nothing sweeter than old people, but that's how sweet I'm. So sweet they get jealous. So like I thought there's no way that old people keep shooting at me is taken. So that's what
Yeah. It
little
works.
glowing letters are on my face. Ooh.
Yeah, if you search for my podcast name, a different podcast comes up that uses the word the. And I'm like, but you didn't type the, so why is that what comes up? But that's what comes up. So my podcast can be hard to find.
Mine is too. It turns out if you go to the search and you put old people keep shooting at me, you just get like dozens and dozens of like horrible news articles until you get to me. Like it's just like people get shot a lot. And I didn't think about it because it says old people, and I don't think that old people shooting somebody for being too nice is a problem, but they
Yeah.
just put something similar and it's I go, oh no.
Yeah. I know. And search results are not, they're often only for part of what you put in now. So it's not
Yep.
even, it's so frustrating. Like I
No,
do
I'm never.
Google rewards, and they'll send me like whatchamacallit, like questionnaires or whatever, or my opinions on search results. Do you trust Google, this, that, and whatever? And I always give them bad stuff because I'm just like, you literally just show me sponsored shit, and you give me
Mhm.
search results not for what I searched for, but what you think I was searching for. And I meant what I said I want to search for. And even
Yeah.
when you do like use the quotes and stuff to like force it, it still just searches for what it thinks you're looking for. And I'm like, no, that's not what I'm looking for.
Or what it hopes you're looking for based on who buys ads, right? It just
Yep,
yeah,
exactly.
it's uh
Yep.
yeah, I think I'm just gonna have whatever social media I still have. I don't know. If I want more people to hear, and this might just be an archive of just what I was like before I got worse. That might end up being all it is. So that might not be needed to have more people here. I want the people that I care about to hear just because it's like fun, but if I ever feel like maybe more people would like this, I probably just put a link with all my social media stuff because it's you're not gonna you're not gonna find me based on my name.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Let me know if you want me to link to anything in the description for the episode. 'Cause I can do that.
Ooh, I don't think I'm ready for that. But if
Yeah.
somebody clicks on it and they see that I've posted two things ever,
Then they can subscribe and be ready for the next ones.
oh boy, yeah. I'm just building up the anticipation. I didn't
Exactly.
forget that I was doing it on Tuesdays. This is showmanship right here.
Well, I think I'm gonna wrap up. I'm very
Oh,
tired.
it's been a while. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. I didn't do a face, so I'm not as tired as I was the other times. But yeah, I probably should go. I bet does it happen to you like when you stop talking to somebody and then you just kind of just drop like a marionette? So I think I'm
Yeah.
gonna do that.
Yep. I'm gonna go sit in my chair, just be like a blob for a bit, and then I'll play some video games. But thank you for coming on my podcast again. And it's so awesome to talk to you that I lost track of time. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Complaining is the life of my life. I don't say that very often. Yeah, it
Oh,
was really
cool.
good to catch up with you. And I'll see you next time. Yay.
Yep. Bye.
Bye bye.